Hi all and welcome to another week of the Truth, Honour and Integrity Show. Don't look back in anger. There'll be portions tonight where we have to go back slightly to then go forward, and we will go forward. And there's portions that are important for our future in this show that will be relayed somewhere in the middle and also near the end. And it's important for people to start paying real attention, because this week has been probably one of the most extraordinary weeks ever in human history. And there's a lot I can't say, because there's certain things that are ongoing. But there's a lot going on this week that people need to pay attention to. So that will be the show tonight. The back, the present and the future. But we must not look back in anger. Next Wednesday I will be on with Jim of Ground Crew Command. I can't remember what time it is, but it will be posted on the pages in the week. So that will be next Wednesday. So look forward to that. There's been a couple of things that have been going on with the MWHT Holding Trust, which we'll get into in a minute, and some letters from Kim. I appreciate some of you will have seen them on the Facebook page, but we have far more listeners than we have Facebook page members. So they will be available shortly. The first thing I need to mention is there's a new EU law that is going into effect this month that will require Patreon to add an extra security step for EU patrons. So apparently this is to reduce fraud for cardholders, and all companies with EU customers are required to comply. As a result, some of your Patreons may see a pop-up from their bank when pledging or updating any payment methods that requests a username and a password, a code sent to email or text, or any other authentication method supported by the banks. If your patrons have any questions or issues with one of these pop-ups, it's best to suggest that they contact their bank directly, as apparently Patreon does not control the form. So that's for our EU patrons and the people who have Patreon in the EU. This week we received some Twitter messages via Randy's Twitter, as neither Kim or I are on that platform. And it came from a Dr. Slay, who is said to be a Pan-African artist. And he sent a message this week stating about the MWHT Holding Trust, and about 4 nations are in shock from a message stating that the MWHT Holding Trust is stopping all negotiations. And it went on and says this will destroy a lot of reputations and make us look like liars. It went on in another one. Sao Tome got a letter of introduction from the Sovereign Trust already via one of my channels, I was told. I went to Zambia and the government was really happy and ready to receive. Kenya was also ready to be closed. But I got very sad news from Bin Suleiman in USA saying MWHT Holding Trust is suspending all negotiations. Can you please confirm? I feel so broken and my name and reputation is at stake here, without a reason to give. Now, neither Kim nor I are familiar with Dr. Slay or Bin Suleiman, and we suspect this is the latest attempt by clowns to block and or discredit the trust. But at least they admit it exists now, and Kim is willing to fund the countries. Now, Kim is available direct for presidents or prime ministers of countries to contact her. The people at that level will know how to contact her direct. You know, there's an awful lot of people running around currently saying that they are operating on behalf of Kim and the Trust. Various duplicate Kims, yes, we are aware, agents of Rothschilds and Jesper Ellerman et al., and also some sellout people as well, trying to make backdoor deals for themselves, and it's kind of difficult to keep track of it all currently for Kim and the team. You know, it is a difficult situation, and one of the reasons why these people don't want Kim to have funds is to stop her building and being able to pay her own team. You know, there are very few people around the world who will do work for no pay, like Kim, like I, and some others in the team. And so it's kind of difficult to get a body of people who you can trust to operate on behalf of the trust. And a lot of them are clowns, and particularly in Africa. So without pay or any sort of control or follow as to whether these few people on the ground trying to do the right thing, those people are always susceptible to the devious and their wrecking ball ways. And some of them have gone awry as time has pushed on. But what has stopped is Kim wasting her time negotiating with intermediaries and is going direct only. Most of these middlemen were mainly all to be found to be the agents of the Rothschilds, the IMF, or the UN, determined for the people of Africa to get nothing. You know, we have all the evidence of it. In fact, some of the people in some of those countries will rubber stamp what I've just said 100%, because they witnessed it themselves. And the reason being is the trust is giving them funding with no payback. They're not loans, they're money owed to each country. But the clowns want the African countries to get heavy laden interest-bearing loans from the IMF. And then they add to that loan and make those countries default, which is exactly what's happened. At that point, they then take all the assets to pay off their fake loans. This is what they've been doing, the IMF, the Rothschilds and the UN, to countries all around the world. And the other reason is Kim is trying to transfer funds direct to the government and not using the fake African Central Bank known as the Citigroup. All funds going into Africa currently must go via the Citibank to keep that bank afloat. The same as Central America with Wells Fargo, acting as their central bank. It's not their central bank. And JP Morgan did a similar act recently, that all credit union transactions must go through their platform as well. This is to make them look like they've got liquidity when they haven't. And I hope the people of Africa understand these facts of what is and what has gone on in your country. And Kim is doing her utmost to correct those crimes and get the much needed infrastructure and development up and running on that continent. One thing I have to say is people seem to think that the trust is like some sort of call centre. You know, it is a private organisation that no one had heard of until Kim came along. You know, it's absolutely impossible to make herself available for everyone who wants to speak to her. It's all day, every day, at all times of the day due to the different time zones. 18, 19, 20 hours per day, 7 days a week. I've seen it. And I kept telling her to pull back from it since last November. You know, some of these people just want to chat to Kim because she's known or considered famous. You know, and they talk the most boring and non-productive bullshit you ever heard, whilst making all kinds of claims they can do this and that for her, until it comes to the proof, and suddenly they vanish. I've heard the calls. You know, 209 countries is a lot to deal with for one person. but due to the trust and security issues, which real awake people would understand, and the ability to not pay people for their role or work currently, Kim has no option but to go alone at this time. Is that suitable? Not really. But when you have people acting in the wrong way and selling Kim out, like Jesper and his clowns, and there are others playing the same game with her currently, who can you trust in this world and also at that level? The answer is sadly no one. Even I came under scrutiny at times. I just pulled back and allowed Kim to come to her own conclusions. Even some members of the team, the inner team, have sold her out. Megan being one of them. Matt and Megan, pair of clowns. But Kim has found out to her cost at times there are very few people on this planet with a sole interest of only wanting to improve things for the all. And that is the saddest aspect of this. And it's also why Kim would be right to trust nobody. Too many are in it for their own agenda. Both I and Kim appreciate many want their projects to go ahead, but understand Kim operates mainly at a government and above level. It's a private company, organisation, and she cannot be available for everyone in every country asking when is the funding arriving. The reality is Kim would have loved you all to have your funding a few years ago, as then she can move on and do something more suitable and pleasant than battling old system clowns. But this is the reality. They don't want the people to have any money. But we will continue to fight on, and one day, we'll work around them all together. Kim has come under a lot of fire. This is mainly to the people not on the Facebook page, and in particular Anna von Reitz. And so Kim wrote a series of letters this week addressing different things. Some of it is intel in a way when you read it. And so for the benefit of the people who are not on Facebook, here is 3 letters that Kim wrote in the past week. And the first one is to Ms. von Reitzinger Habsburg, aka Anna von Reitz. I have not posted on the internet in ages, yet to increase your readability and your follower base, which went to almost 0, you feel the need to mention me. I am not at all interested in whatever job you are in the running for, so feel free to take whatever job you think I'm stealing. I'm not interested whatsoever. As for your posts about HSBC, aka Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, which is the largest money laundering operation on the planet, by the way, please refer to some Chinese person. I do not engage with this bank, nor am I interested in some hysterical bonds, nor any currency revaluation with no economic relevance whatsoever. Enjoy your world of fantasy transactions. I have other things to do. As for your claim of MERS, Kim's involved in MERS, that is run by IBM, as in IBM Marduk, and that's got nothing to do with me. Ms. Habsburg, after all, your family is the one that allowed the commoner Rothschilds to marry into royalty and begin their takeover of Europe. That is fact. Obviously, you want to carry on their legacy by begging repeatedly all their organisations for money. Good luck. one of your ancestors couldn't help themselves and thought it was a great idea to allow the spawn into your house. Why should you not as well? I am certainly glad that I can say that did not happen with my family. You begged them for redemption. I'm not interested. Lastly, the Vatican is broke. The Holy See is still waiting for money from Rothschilds, and it will never come. Therefore, you can write letter after letter to those pedophiles, and it will fall on deaf ears. Maybe that is a good hobby for you. Waste someone else's time. Just not mine. Good luck and happy hunting. Write more letters to the Vatican and leave me out of it. I'm not interested. So that was to von Reitzinger Habsburg. The next letter is to Madeleine Tain and Megan, who was part of the UBU team until she set up with rogue Pentagon people who are still intent on pulling off the RV and hacking the quantum system to do so. Firstly, you must have an awful lot of free time, but here it is for everyone else, not you, not Megan. I do not care what anyone thinks of me, not on the internet, not in person, and certainly not the two of you. There is a lot I could say about the two of you, but I wouldn't waste my breath. I'm not trying to be an internet sensation. I do not have a YouTube channel or any other medium. I work and I don't care about anyone knowing anything I do. I do not seek acknowledgement from anyone, least of all you. I'm guessing from your demons are looking for some kind of trigger for me. Well, you won't find it here. So continue to suck the life out of Megan and Madeleine and leave me or die. Your choice. The Donovan Foundation has not been active since 2010 and it began in 2006. It was a family foundation, therefore not able to accept the donations from third parties. To that effect, I am the only person that ever donated a dime to that foundation. The foundation was formed by me to provide medications, travel expenses, hotel stays for parents and anything else needed by cystic fibrosis patients and also their parents. I donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to that foundation until I could no more. It was a way for me to heal after the loss of my brother and to honour a wonderful man who I still miss very much. For you to try to find anything you can on me and to go searching through the death of my brother shows me that you can not find anything else I have ever done. So since the organisation has been defunct for over 7 years, there is nothing you will find. So if you are searching for something I have done, you will not find it in the Donovan Foundation. And if you have one person, $1, whom anyone donated to that organisation who claims they were wronged, please produce this person and proof. However, I know for a fact they do not exist. You are grabbing at straws. I know it, and so do you and Megan. I am not in Sedona holding seminars selling sunshine. I'm not soliciting donations. I'm not asking for anyone to do anything for me in any way. Further, I'm not selling anything, and I do not need to sell the trust either. I do not need to disperse a dime from the trust. That's something people need to understand. That is Kim's choice to give money to the people, yet still fulfilling my obligations. So as far as Madeleine, Megan and all their other cohorts, if this is your hobby of researching me makes you happy, then please proceed. If posting ridiculous accusations with zero proof makes you happy, then please continue to do so. none of which bothers me in the least, and if anything, I'm happy you have found yourself some entertainment in your horribly boring lives. In a nutshell, please provide me with one person who donated $1 to the Donovan Foundation, and please provide their bank statement proving so. If this exists, then I will provide documentation. However, I know it doesn't, but nonetheless, you need something to keep you busy. So rage on, oh great demons. I don't care. May God bless you the way you bless others. And the final thing is some background of some of the things that a lot of people will not be familiar with. And it's another claim of Miss von Wright Habsburg and who she's dealing with. So this will, in essence, be in part intel. Ms. von Wright, you are not legally registered as a judge in any court. However, you are regarded as a person knowledgeable in global martial law and admiralty law and many other facts about what happened to us legally. I agree in this respect. Your earlier posts shows your extensive knowledge. However, you took a turn for the worst when you teamed up with Michael Young, Megan and Matt, known as Mr. and Mrs. M on the Tolek Show, Scott Owen Lennon, and Mark Cifelli. So let me take a moment to explain who these people are. Mark Cifelli works for a person he calls Grandpa. This man currently goes by the name of Lawrence Rossier, or simply LWR. His birth name is Robert Ferreira, and the information on 5 Star, which is the trust, can be found on the internet in part. He ran operations on behalf of Rothschild Trust and still does to this day. He will tell you himself, if you are not white, you are not right. End quote. Mark is a loyal follower of Project Looking Glass and reveres this information as truth. Mr. LWR, aka Grandpa, is not Chinese. He is white with blonde hair and blue eyes and is around 80 years old. He took orders directly from the Vatican Communication Network, the Thule Society and the Black Sun, and carried out many operations worldwide to include the Iran-Contra affair. Next, Mr. Owen Scott Lennon worked for the IMF as a mercenary for many years. He then partnered up with Dr. Savanko, a former trustee for the Black Dragon family based in USA and China. Dr. Savanko went against the families back in 1998 and was fired as a trustee. Supposedly he had an attack of morality after his firing and changed his ways. Regardless, he is dead, killed by his own people after promising the UN IMF he could release money out of the Bedford Trust, which was dissolved in 1998. Scott is tied to the IMF to this day and to all its globalist CIA, FBI, KGB networks around the world. He provided Anna with all her intel and was arrested along with Dr. Savanko for trying to pass fake bonds to the Vatican. Michael Young, another partner of Anna's, who looks suspiciously like Neil Keenan and is a member of the Bohemian Grove Club. He works for the Illuminati and is a member of the Order of the Black Sun, Italian branch. Fulford calls these folks the P2 Lodge, the party who runs the Jesuits, black operations and the creator of fascism. He housed Matt and Megan, who are part members of Team Bubba at his home in Palm Springs, California for over a year before they moved to Sedona to sell sunshine, doing seminars on the seventh seal and other Gnostic belief systems. He is working with the globalist sector Aka Deep State to bring forth the RVGCR, which will never happen. The Black Sun also runs all black operations for the Vatican, which is why you are getting false information about selling bonds against USA assets to them. That was what Miss Von Reitz was trying to do. 1/3 of America's assets she was trying to give away to clowns. Yes, I still have those emails from you, Anna. The Black Sun, Gnostic Illuminati, Team Bubba, Blackwater et al. Are all tied together by Mr. and Mrs. M, who are part of all of the above. I feel they are the ones directing you to keep petitioning the Vatican to try to access the old Black Eagle Trust. In order of the Black Sun, the branches are eagle. As an example, Hitler was brown eagle, and then you have green eagle, etc. So you see, Miss Von Reitz, you were doing so well helping the people of America, and the information you were providing to people was real until you partnered up with the wrong folks, and now your writings and blogs have gone awry. Please, for the sake of the American people, go back to being the intelligent, knowledgeable woman you are, and stop being the mark in some Black Sun operation. The American people need the old Anna back. I too have made mistakes and trusted the wrong people, Jesper as one example. We are human and we all make mistakes, and I suggest you take a long, hard look at those around you and make your own decisions. Kim. To end this piece and end Team Bubba altogether, we're going to do a logic-based Q&A session now for the people to all ponder on. Kim and I have been accused of many things, but let's break it down in a logical fashion, and then we can all move on. Thomas is a scammer, they say. Now, the definition of scamming is to obtain something such as money by a scam. But my Patreon, which everybody knows I was reluctant to ever use, is voluntary. Funny scam that, is it not? A voluntary scam scheme. The People's Club is a scam, which also collects money based on voluntary donations, none of which, as proven by the tax records, has gone to any of the directors, of which I am one, and donations each year have totaled between $5,000 or $6,000 per year, as the submittal of records has shown. They're available in the files section on both Facebook and MeWe. And it costs around $2,500 per year to keep the People's Club Foundation running, with agents' costs and fees and all kinds of filing this and file that nonsense. So again, there's no scam there. Kim is a scammer, but Kim has not asked for or received any money. So how is it a scam? The Manor World Holding Trust is not real and a scam, some claim, but people at the right level around the world all know it's real. As the first piece mentioned about the African people, Zambia and Kenya, you already know about Liberia and many other countries we've dealt with in Africa. They all know it's real. The trust gives funds to people, not from people. So again, no scam. Then we come to the more ridiculous claims. Thomas spends all day drinking whiskey or smoking cigars, which is also a scam apparently. Oh dear. Playground level accusations again. Yes, I smoke cigars. Ooh. Conspiracy. But the last time I drank whiskey was at the request of a friend back in the mid-90s, and I was still in the UK then. But, you know, you can't let facts get in the way of an agenda. My overall alcohol consumption is bordering on minimal also. I think I've had less than 25 beers in the last 3, but nearly 4 years now. I just don't partake. I'm happy with the coffee and water, that does me. But the very fact that they're making up absurd ways to make Kim or I look bad, as Kim said earlier, is full-on proof they have nothing real or evidential to pin on Kim or myself. Nothing. You know, there's been agencies and all kinds of groups and governments that have pulled files on both me and Kim, more Kim than I, looking for dirt. They found none. Otherwise it would have been out by now. And it's a major source of frustration to them and their paymasters. And that's why they just make up bullshit. And with that, I and we will move on altogether from their stupidity, as trying to engage, teach or convince people wallowing in their own stupidity and darkness, whose only existence and intent is of gaining any relevance by talking and acting stupid, is kind of pointless. But let it be known this was not some internet tiff, as last Saturday's show revealed, and it did need addressing accordingly. This was a coordinated, deep-seated plot by the former controllers using pointless people to play their game and discredit all and sundry. So now it is all addressed, and Kim's had her say, and people have had all the evidence to make their own choice. Having set the record straight, I and we will now bid them farewell and wish them well on their special being the operative word, type of journey. And I ask all members to not send me what they are saying anymore. I'm not interested. I choose to not engage any further. People who stoop to the levels to create a conspiracy and then celebrate it out of the tragic death of someone's brother. And with that, we bid them farewell, and we'll have a song.